just don't fit on my face, right?
Yeah, it's like it's off center.
Yeah, you can see.
Your nose. Maybe if it was more symmetrical, the glasses wouldn't be such a big issue.
My name is David, and my nose is just kind of trash. It's shifted to the left. The right side of my nose is completely crushed and caved in, and I have a hard time breathing, and I get tremendous headaches. It's just an annoyance. Every time I have to go get glasses, I have to be reminded.
Well,
I don't like what I see, and then I
know, but I don't want you to feel like that.
Well, I do. Growing up, my nose didn't look like everybody else's. I did get teased relentlessly. That did really bother me, that I was different.
I'm telling you, let's go get an opinion, because I think it might help.
I don't know, maybe it's time.
Now or never.
I want to get your opinion.
What do you have?
This is David. Take a look at his nose.
Oh, I mean, I can't even wrap my brain around the anatomy. I mean, it's like a melted wax.
I was going to say more of a sledgehammer to the side of his nose.
Is that really something that can be fixed?
I don't know.
Even by you?
Can you please send in David?
David.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, David. Dr. Nassif.
Jerry Dubrow, David. Pleasure to meet you.
I've been living with this nose my entire life. I don't want it to be an issue anymore. I mean, my daughter refers to my nose as an IUD disaster.
What is IUD disaster?
My mother had an IUD, and she got pregnant with me, so I'm the 1%. So
And she called you a disaster?
No, she did not. That was my daughter. When I was forming in the womb, somehow the IUD had come and pushed up against my face and deformed my nose.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How would you know that, or how would the doctor even know that? When you were born, was there anything else wrong with you besides the nose?
No. For the first couple years of my life, my nose had no structure, no cartilage. I've had 2 surgeries, one when I was 5. They had taken rib, and they started building up a structure in my nose.
At the age of 5?
Yeah.
That surgery alone can cause a problem with the growth plates in your nose and even growing. That might have prohibited some of your growth.
And then I had a second follow-up surgery, which did essentially the same thing, but kind of made it a little bit bigger. But when I hit about 13 years old, I noticed things kind of shifted into the position that it is now. That's when kind of the headaches started. But I've been to a neurologist and couldn't find anything wrong with me.
And you're still having these same exact headaches now?
I do, yeah.
They're not migraines?
The neurologist called them cluster headaches.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, cluster headache.
Yeah, and it's usually 2 or 3 a month. Feels like somebody stabbing an ice pick through your eye and twisting, and it's relentless. They'll last for hours.
Tell us what your goals are.
I'm having some health issues. I would like to have those resolved. The headaches, my breathing.
I can feel from one nostril to the other, like no air comes out of one side at all. So like even when we were dating, we would be kissing and he would kind of pull away. And at first I'm like, do you not like kissing me? Yeah. And then he basically said, well, when I kiss, it's almost like I'm holding my breath because I can't breathe through my nose.
But I mean, I'd like to have some symmetry.
What you want is a more normal nose.
He wants to blend in. He's not a social person. I'm the more social person.
I can
see
that.
He likes to just blend in, doesn't want to go to parties.
So the question is, if he gets this fixed, will he turn into like a raving lunatic?
Probably
at
not.
The disco.
I wish.
David at the disco.
All right. Let's take a peek inside.
Okay.
Your septum is pushed all the way over to your right side, blocking 100% of your airway. The only time I've seen someone get relief from headaches is when I saw the septum so badly deviated that it's touching the side of the wall in the turbinates. Here it looks like it's touching everything. I would hope that you get some relief. However, you are going to be one of these patients, which is rare for me to say, that I really don't know exactly what's happening inside your nose until I go in surgery. So I cannot give you a plan right now except take rib cartilage, open up your nose, look and see what's going on, and start from there. I'm not convinced that this is from an IUD.
I agree.
I'm more convinced that this was a congenital issue. Your left side developed normally, your right side didn't.
Yeah.
The baby's gonna be moving around all the time, swimming around in that uterus. Seems a little hard to believe that an IUD can just sit on a baby's face the whole time and cause that kind of damage.
My whole world changed. You know, I've been told this all my life. Now you're telling me it's this other congenital problem?
It almost does look like a cleft lip nasal deformity.
On that whole side. Because even if you did have an IUD pushing on your nose, it's not going to cause this bone to be way outside over here. It's just not going to cause some of these defects.
That's the word that I didn't want to hear. Defect. Well, you're defective now, right? There wasn't something that made you defective. It was just you. It feels awful to have lived 51 years of my life having one story, and then right now, it changed.
You have a really complicated, big question mark, unknown situation.
You okay?
Mm-hmm. You don't have to do this, David. You've lived with it this long, and we don't have to do this.
I'm sorry.
No, do not be sorry.
So let me give you a little bit more information. The point is you're missing bone and cartilage. And no matter what, your septum is horribly deviated. We got to fix that. Because if I can get your headaches better, and I don't know if I can, but get your breathing better, get your lifestyle better, that right there, opening up your right airway, is going to do so much good for you. So I want to do that, no matter what, as long as you give me the permission.
I think I need it. It's hard to hear that the problem is congenital, but if there's a chance to fix some of maybe the aesthetic problems and fix some of the health problems, I feel very hopeful.
Let's be honest, you're worried about Dave and the disco. You are.
I'm worried my kids are going to say, what happened to Daddy? Where's Daddy?
Daddy is doing the thingy.
Yeah.
We can't get him off the dance floor.
Hard to believe you're going to have a new nose soon, huh?
Might sound kind of weird, but I've had this nose for my whole life. So I'm kind of afraid of what my feelings are going to be when it changes.
Mr. David, got some new news for you.
Okay.
Dr. Peng and Dr. Leader and I, we did our research, and we've actually operated on numerous patients that had some of the same findings you have.
Okay.
There's something called a bifid nose. David has what we call a bifid cleft nose, which means that the nose is actually split into two, and that's why it's very wide. So what I need to do is build up the right side to make the nose appear more symmetric. So he's wide even here. However, unfortunately, it's still going to be a little wide, but it's going to look a lot better. And this bone feels like it's either pushed in or gone. So our goal is to build up the right side of your nose. So we have to mold and kind of use some putty from your rib, basically. Pretty much, I have to do some sculpturing in there.
Right.
All right?
Do some artwork.
We're going to do it for you. For David's surgery, I will start by opening the nose, while Dr. Peng harvests rib. We will remove the rib that was used in his previous surgeries and then assess the anatomy of his nose. Next, we will fix his deviated septum to open his airway and use spreader grafts to push out the collapsed bone on the right side of his nose. Next, we will use a septal extension graft to lengthen the tip. And finally, a right alar batten graft to add structure to his nasal valve, hopefully leaving David with a more normal-looking nose. Well, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Doing well?
Tell us how you feeling.
I feel like I got punched in the gut right here. It's been painful. I've been feeling all my 51 years. Here, not so great, but here, very painful. But honestly, it's more, I feel good mentally.
Breathe for me. Can you breathe?
I'll tell you right now, the first thing I noticed was for the first time in my life, I felt air jetting through that nostril.
Jetting is right.
It startled me. I'll be honest with you. It
Really?
startled me.
So let me, you can go ahead and cover that. So when I went in there, it was really bad. The bony vault and the middle vault was all the way in. So I was able to fix the septum and rebuild the middle part of your nose. And then we're hoping that the headaches may go away. We don't know yet.
Okay.
So tell us your thoughts about this.
I'm elated. Our paths crossed for a very short amount of time, but you guys changed my life, really.
And I hope that after this is done, comes off, you guys go out to a beautiful restaurant, have a nice dinner, and feel good about everything.
Absolutely.
That would be made even that much better if you picked up the check.
Well, Denny's does have some great special stuff. Then we'll make it breakfast instead. The 2 + 2 + 2.
This whole story started when I was in the womb. My mother had an IUD when I was born, and my nose didn't look like everybody else's. All along, I was told that it was the IUD that caused the problem. Dr. Nassif shed light on my unique congenital diagnosis. And now my nose definitely looks a lot better. It makes me feel a lot better, and that's the best thing.
The world belongs to us.
It's beautiful.
Happy anniversary.
Anniversary. Stuck with me now.
Yeah, new nose and all, right?
Yeah. Before my surgery, my nose was absolute trash. It wasn't symmetrical, it was shifted to the left. I couldn't breathe, and I was having horrible headaches. I hated looking in the mirror, and I thought that my deformed nose was all that people would see when they'd look at me. But now, not only did Dr. Nassif give me a symmetrical, functional, and good-looking nose, but I'm no longer the family IUD disaster.
Well, I've noticed since the surgery, I think your quality of life has definitely improved. You haven't had one headache since August, so
Right.
that in itself was worth more than anything.
Really, that was the most worth it part for me.
That was
So thank you for pushing me to do something about it.
I'm grateful that you're just happier and pain-free, to be honest. Unfortunately, with David's new nose, he's not going to be at the disco dancing on tables, as much as Dr. Dubrow was hoping that would happen. But he is who he is. I've been married to him for 25 years. I'll stay married to him for another 25, even if he doesn't disco dance.
You know, all these years, I've kind of had this buffer of the reason to my nose, and I always kind of played it off as like, well, it's not really a defect, it's not a birth defect, it's something that just was there and it happened.
Right.
And then here we are 50 years later,
I know.
And
the
story got turned completely up on its head. Even though it kind of stung maybe at the moment, I've kind of gotten over it. The reality is the underlying structure was what it was,
right.
And Dr. Nassif fixed that problem. He finished the job. I was skeptical at first, and just everybody kind of pushed and did all this for me, and I'm ready to move on from here. Dr. Dubrow and Dr. Nassif, I can't even explain how grateful I am. Thank you.
Oh no, how much is it? Oh wow. Aw, Dr. Nassif actually is picking up the tab for our anniversary dinner.
Isn't that incredible?
How sweet. Dr. Nassif's paying. We should order another bottle.